Thank you. Well, thank you very much. I am very excited to be here. I really am. It took me 3 hours to get here. And I was almost a little late because you know that the annual oh my God, I'm doing ready. That annual deep cleaning that you do about every 8 years? Yeah, that's what I was doing before I left. And it's no reflection on my mother. My mother had a schedule for her cleaning, like just every Friday cleaning the kitchen floors. My schedule was a little looser, like Christmas and, the third time the dog vomits on the rug. I have a lot of theories, so I'm going to get right into it. This is a theory that I've had for a little while, and I'm glad there's some kids here because I think they could appreciate this theory. When we were kids, there you go. When I was a kid, I don't think our parents had any intentions of us living past the age of 10. And I come up with this theory because all you have to do is look at a typical 70s playground, right? The things they build for kids now are beautiful. A family of 4 could live in these things, right? Back when we were kids, there's a lot of people, I'm saying older than my age, we didn't have those fluffy chips. We didn't have that rubber stuff that they have now. No, what do we have? Grass. If we were lucky. Concrete. 2 weeks later, it was solid dirt, right? Anytime you stepped on a playground, it was a given. You're getting a scraped knee or an elbow, right? So I'm going to describe some of the playground equipment to you, right? We have the slide, seemingly a very innocent piece of equipment, right? Nowadays, you hold your kids' hands and they're sliding down, In my day, that thing was so high, it was like on a cloudy day, you couldn't see the top. The kids were going up 17 deep, holding their coats, drinking it, because they'd be exhausted and dehydrated by the time they got to the top, right? And then, and then we didn't have plastic. There was no plastic, right? What do we have? Metal, right? I'm from Jersey. On any given summer day, it was 95 degrees, right? You go down that and you were like, burn from butt to foot, right? And nowadays, again, mom's there, they're holding your hand, they're going down, telling little, Dylan to move over because his sister's coming down. There were no parents on the playground when we were kids. If there was a problem, right? Right? Either they just got laid off from work, they're a pervert, or you were in so much trouble that they weren't waiting for you to get home. They were grabbing you and bringing you home. So we didn't have our parents to say, hey, get out of the way. So we're on the top, the very high there. And we're like, hey, look out, I'm coming. Because you would go shooting down that thing so fast, knock kids 20 feet out of the way. Right? And some kids that want to go a little faster, the ones who wore the corduroys, so they had to bring their wax paper. Kids don't even know about wax paper these days, right? I personally had built-in wax paper. I had polyester pants that my mother made for me, right? But I will give credit where credit is due. I still, to this day, hold the speed record on that slide, 23.5 miles an hour. So then we have the seesaw. Again, seemingly a very innocent piece of equipment, right? Nowadays, you're holding your kid as they're going up and down. In my day, that thing was so high. I lived in North Jersey. In the up position, you could see the Empire State Building from my schoolyard. But it wasn't so bad because in the up position, it was kind of cool, breezy up there and kind of quiet. And then you come down here, all the kids yelling, and you go back up and it's kind of quiet. It's kind of nice. But inevitably, you'd be in the up position, the school bell would ring, that kid would take off, and boom, you'd go down, crashing like a rock. And someone's like, yep. There are many people to this day that did not have kids because of that ride. Oh! Then there was my least favorite. I gotta know the guy who invented this thing. And I know it was a guy because a woman would never do this to a kid. You know that spin thing? Yeah, right? I think they call it a merry-go-round, right? So you would get one of your friends to get on it, because you're gonna spin them around, Well, in the beginning it's not so bad, you're spinning them around, it's a lot of fun. Well, I don't know, 3 months in, you're hanging like this because you're running around a ditch, right? And you're just hanging for God, you know what I mean? Like flying off that thing, right? You were lucky if you got tossed like a piece of paper, maybe chipped a tooth, right? The unlucky ones got dizzy. They're going off in a dizzying stupor. They end up near third base of the kickball field, puking up their lunch, and they would never live that down. In some circles, my friend Pat, she's still known as Puke-Faced Patty. But all of that pales in comparison to those barnyard animals on a spring. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Yeah, okay. There was pigs, turkeys, ducks, nothing you would ever ride, like a horse, you know. I don't know why they picked those things. But they were, if no one knows what they are, they're big, these big springs. And they had the little feet things there and hand things, and you go back and forth. And they actually were kind of fun for a kid, right? But, I don't know, 6 months in, they got a little loose. And some were looser than others. And if you were on a playground, you knew which ones that you can go on. You know, my playground, the cow was good, you could trust the cow. The pig, if you're a little adventurous, you go on the pig. Nobody, unless you were 6th grade and up, went near that rooster. That thing was so loose. I don't know why, but it was like beak to tail. And not only that, it went this way too. It was like riding one of those mechanical bulls, you know, going back and forth, right? So one day we had this new girl in school. Her name was Susie Bigelow. And she was a really sweet girl, a little heavy-set, but very nice girl. And we're out in the playground, and she decides to ride one of the animals. And she's walking towards the rooster. And all you see is this. Right? Now, I grew up with a really bunch of good kids. But no one told Susie about anything. I blame the school for what happened that day. We were doing those standardized tests, you know, when you're filling in the bubbles, you know. So by Friday, we're all punchy. We're looking for a little action. So I think that's why no one clued Susie in. So Susie gets on the rooster, and she's going. She's having a good old time. That rooster had a tipping point. Susie hit it and hit it hard. She had her little feet in the stirrups, her hands in here, and she's going back and forth. She went down. Her thighs wrapped around her arms like a vice. Her butt was up in the air. Did I mention she was wearing a skirt? A hush fell over the playground. It was like watching a bad accident on the side of a road. We were both mesmerized and horrified at the same time. That's the last time we saw Susie Bigelow. After the playground aide and the principal extracted her from the rooster, rumor has it that her mother enrolled her in a private school where they had more money to purchase less terrorizing playground equipment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Debbie.
Yeah.
Great job.
Thank you.
Debbie Ennis right there, folks. What up?